man, I do feel bad for Lucy Hale. The girl can't catch a break. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Joshua, aka Future Filmmaker 3940 Reviews, where we talk movies, TV, and music. And I am here to give you guys my thoughts, of course, on A Nice Girl Like You, which starts with the likes of Lucy Hale, aka Ari Montgomery from Pretty Little Liars, Leonidas Gulaptis, Jackie Cruz, and is based on a memoir called Pornology by Carrillo Gailey. And this is directed by Charles Riedell and Nico Riedell from a screenplay by Andrea Marcellus. Now, before I get into my thoughts on A Nice Girl Like You, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell to get notified when new videos are uploaded, whenever I go live or when I post in my community tab. Also, if you want to donate money to my channel or you want to send fan mail, you can DM me or email me to do either one of those, and I'll get back to you on how to do that. Also, be sure to go all over my social media links in the description box down below and tell me what you guys think of this movie, because this is going to be a pretty interesting one to talk about. So, A Nice Girl Like You follows Lucy Hale, who is a violinist who is thrown for a loop where she is accused of being too inhibited by her ex-boyfriend. And in an effort to prove him wrong, Lucy creates a rather wild-to-do list that sends on her on a whirlwind journey of self-discovery, friendship, and new love. So, going into A Nice Girl Like You, I did not see trailers. I did see a trailer, but that was the only trailer I saw. I saw a poster, and I was like, hey, Lucy Hale in a new movie. This in a romantic comedy. I like romantic comedies. I love romance movies. Waiting badly for a legit great romance movie, or at least decent romance movie, because romance movies this year and also in the last couple of years has kind of gone down the tubes with the 50 Shades trilogy and with After and the soon to be released After We Collided, and not so recently 365 Days, which I did not see, thank goodness. But I will say A Nice Girl Like You was pretty decent. And I think the biggest praise for this, it is going to go to Lucy Hale. Lucy Hale is definitely one of my favorite actresses, and every time she tries to find something new, it doesn't always work for her, but Lucy Hale, she is a great actress and not only a very talented singer. I love her in Pretty Little Liars. I liked her in Secret of the Wings as Periwinkle. I like Truth or Dare. Fantasy Island, she was good in it until that last half. But even Katie King, I thought she was amazing here. And this was shot back in 2018, but this didn't get released until this year, 2020. And usually that does play a big problem. Just like Underwater was shot back in 2017, but we got it at the beginning of this year. And A Nice Girl Like You, I think, is a decent romantic drama, but Lucy Hale, her performance is what elevates this movie. Her performance is what keeps this movie afloat for me. She brings a lot of charm, she brings a lot of wit, and she brings a lot of heart into the movie. She's also a co-producer on this, so I can kind of tell this was a bit of a passion project for her, but she still brought her A game. No, even if the movie's bad, Lucy Hale can try to make something good out of it. I just wish that her character in Fantasy Island wasn't so disappointingly bad when you get to the end of the movie. I will say that the rest of the cast, including the ex-boyfriend character and including the new love interest that she wants to date, I liked him. I liked the rest of the cast performances as well. I will say that in some areas the comedy worked. In some areas, there were a couple of areas where the comedy didn't really 100% work for me, and there were some jokes that I was like, really, you had to do that. But a lot of jokes, half the time, I really did laugh at, and I did like the romance between these two. It's not the greatest romance ever, but I will say that for what we got, it was one of the better things. It was one of the better romances I've seen. It is not the worst romance ever. It's not even on the par of Anakin Padme bad. It was darn sure better than Tessa and Heart, and I can tell you that much. But I will say that performances wise, I do really like what they were trying to do. I do like what they were going for here. And I did really care about these characters as well. And to a certain degree. Unfortunately, the problems that comes into the writing and the direction, and it goes to that typical romance cliche, and I'm fine with the cliches. It's not overbearing. I can deal with them if it's done right, and I feel like with the writing and the direction, you don't really get much out of the story or what you came to see. That is one of my biggest letdowns here, that I wanted more from that, and I wanted more from these characters, and I wanted something interesting going on, but I still very much liked what we got, even if it was not very good. And also, there were, again, some of the jokes in this movie were not very funny at all. I found myself kind of sitting there like, really? That wasn't funny. Also, this movie was kind of boring in some parts. It was kind of boring in some areas. And also, it felt a little bit too predictable at times. So, it did feel predictable. I did wish it was more of his own route. I do wish that they would just tap on a bit more to what was going on. But other than that, it wasn't too terrible. Now, before I get to my final thoughts, be sure to tell me what you guys think of A Nice Girl Like You. Do you like the hair or somewhere in the middle? All my social media links are in the description box down below. If you want to send fan mail or donate money to my channel, you can do that as well. And also, with that being said, let's get into my final thoughts on A Nice Girl Like You. All in all, I think A Nice Girl Like You, it is decent, but it's got a lot of problems. Script problems, direction problems, the romance problems. I wish all that would have been fleshed out a bit more. I do wish that this did have a bit more push for some of the things going here, and some of the comedy wasn't very, not very, yeah. Anyways, guys, I did enjoy A Nice Girl Like You to a certain extent. It's not going to be the best movie of the year for me, but it was fine, and I am still pushing for Lucy Hale as an actress and as a singer, because she's awesome. And with that being said, I'm going to give A Nice Girl Like You a middle badly. It's my first middle badly in a long time. So I'm very in the middle with this movie. So let me know what you guys think of this movie down below, and I'll catch you guys later. You guys keep it cool and join the